And we are live. No, that's feedback. Hear my students. Welcome. Oh, it sounds bad. Yeah, do you hear that?
Yeah, you are
Somebody,
3 times.
Yeah, somebody. Wait, it's gone now. Okay.
Cool.
All right. Welcome to episode 304 of An American Werewolf. I am Michael Martin, the American Werewolf, and I don't mean you any disrespect. In the house, yeah, not me. In the house tonight, we got Bill Nakasama. So nice to see you. We've got Tony D, the local Piney, author of The Pineys. What's up, man?
Hi. If I suddenly disappear from the stream, it's probably because my computer crashed. I'm having some issues, but so far it's okay.
Okay, all right.
Damn that Jersey Devil.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, be careful of the fights you pick. And we got John K. Alvarez. A samurai learns from the rain and a fool gets wet. So that's, worth knowing. So we are continuing our Director of the Month, and believe it or not, we're deep into the month of April. I mean, it just seems like yesterday we were in the middle of some sort of cosmic freeze, and the Ice Age, and I was watching Storm of the Century, which somehow made it worse. I don't think it got warm for like 6.5 hours, but there it was. And now we're on the verge of spring, and the bees are being, and the bears are bearing, and the blooms are blooming, and all this kind of happy crappy. It's almost time to mow the lawn, like literally, because the things are up again, and I'm ready to start firing up the tractor. But for this month, we are covering, as for our director, Jim Jarmusch, who has no shortage of weird shit out there. That just happens to be really good. I mean, every director has a theme, and he just does weird movies, and they're not like quirky Tim Burton movies. They're just weird, and they vary in range. And John and I had a great time last week talking about Patterson, which was an Amazon only. I actually went out and bought the movie after I saw it. But this week, it's Jim Jarmusch's Ghost Dog, The Way of the Samurai. So if you guys are ready to go, shall we get it going?
Let's do it.
Boogie woogie. So, Ghost Dog, The Way of the Samurai is a 1999 crime drama produced, written and directed by Jim Jarmusch. It stars Forest Whitaker as the title character. a hitman for the mafia who adheres to the ancient warrior code of the samurai as outlined in the book of Yamamoto Tsunetomo's recorded sayings, Hagakure. The cast features Cliff Gorman, Henry Silva, Isaach de Bankolé, Victor Argo, and Camille Winbush. An international co-production between the United States, France, Germany, and Japan, Ghost Dog premiered at the 1999 Cannes Film Festival, where it competed for the Palme d'Or. It opened to a largely positive critical reception and was nominated for both an Independent Spirit Award for Best Feature and a César Award for Best Foreign Film. Let's just go right at it. Let's start with John. John K. Alvarez. This movie is currently streaming on HBO Max. I've seen it from day one, so I own a copy of it. It's actually a Criterion collection, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But let's start with John. What do you think of this film? Had you seen it before? Because you hadn't seen Patterson. He's not. John revealed last week he's not really up on his Jarmusch. So did you see it for the first time?
This movie has always been in my wheelhouse to see, but I never sat down to see it.
Okay.
So when you picked it, I was like, oh, good. I got to make sure I see this film because I keep hearing so much about it. And I got to admit, I mean, I liked what you said about Jarmusch in the beginning, Mike, when you said he picks weird movies. But to me, it's weird, but I can't turn away. You know, it pulls me into it. It's not bizarre as in you can't understand it or it's completely kooky or it's overly intellectual. And if you don't get it, you don't really understand the world. It's just that you just watch it and you're going, I would have never thought to make a movie this way. And yet I'm so glad someone did because it was just that good. And of course, Forest Whitaker, I'm sorry, he's an American treasure. I can literally watch him do almost anything.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. Tony, what do you got?
I liked it. I had seen it back, I think, in '99 when it came out. Was it '98 or '99?
99.
And I went back and I watched some of the key scenes to remind myself of what was in the movie. I like the action in it. That's pretty good. And I like the mafia portions of it, although it's not totally, I wrote a book about the mafia, so it's not totally on point with the mafia, but it's like close enough. And I mean, it's definitely one of Jarmusch's better films because it's coherent. And most of the characters play at the height of their intelligence.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. Bill Nakasama, we haven't been back since the summer of Kurosawa, looking at anything remotely samurai. What did you think?
I thought it was real good. I never saw this one before, even though I'm a big Jim Jarmusch fan. I've seen almost all his stuff. And this one, I remember it coming out and it being around, and I just never sat down and watched it. And then it was gone, and I just never followed up on it. So I'm very happy that I had a chance to watch it. It very much seems like a 1999 film, watching it in 2026. It's very good. I liked it. I didn't love it, but there's a lot in there that I liked a whole lot. The biggest takeaway was that I thought that Jarmusch was trying to do a parody of spaghetti westerns and those samurai movies that we all watched. I mean, definitely these name dropping Rashomon in there with the book, but the way that he portrayed the mafiosos seems like the way the characters were played in all those old 1950s Kurosawa movies. The exaggeration, the weird, stilted sort of reactions. It all seems very, very staged and very intentional because I know all those actors can act differently. And Jarmusch has films where the actors aren't performing in that weird way. So he can direct actors to do things differently. So I thought this was very, very intentional as sort of like a parody of those two genres.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking just before we went on, and I think before John got in, and we were saying, I was saying that it seems like the world is crumbling. And that, you know, I think as proof of it, if we were to say that, we might have 2 to 4 different thoughts as to what that means. And I think this was sort of an example of that, in that you had this one man who was a hitman, not, necessarily, he's not a saint or an angel or anything like that. I mean, he's a hitman for the mob. But he lives by a code. And I think Bill is right in the sense that a lot of the movies that we covered over the summer it involved a protagonist, or at least one protagonist who lived by a code in a world that just didn't seem to, honor that.
Right.
In a world that was just sort of out for itself, and where loyalty really didn't have any application. You could think of 13 Assassins. You could think of 7 Samurai, where, the farmers, they really weren't exactly the good guys when, push came to shove. They were kind of about themselves. You see it in a lot of the more structured samurai films where, they're working within a household or a lord's fiefdom, rather than the sort of wandering samurai things that we watched over the summer. Maybe we'll double back to some of those later. But you've got this one man, and because he lives by this loyal code, it sort of sets him on the outside. And on the other end of it, you have the mafia, and I've seen enough mafia films to know that there really is no loyalty at the end of the day. If you get killed, it's usually by one of your friends. It's by somebody that so on and so forth. And it's just...
And usually the mafia guys are all Italian.
Yeah.
There seemed to be a lot of non-Italians in that mix.
Yeah, it was kind of sort of glom. Yeah, I mean, it's a comedic take on the mafia. This isn't a Scorsese film, with De Niro and Pesci and, these sorts of characters. It's not Coppola with Pacino.
Right.
And James Caan, it's a parody. I think it's a parody of it. But I mean, the initial hit that, Ghost Dog goes out on is to whack this guy who's screwing the boss's daughter. He's screwing the big boss's daughter. And so he takes the guy out, no fuss, no complications, except for the fact that the boss's daughter is in the room while it happens, and she's not supposed to be there. And now, what I was struck by was that everybody it was this guy, Handsome Frank. And so once Handsome Frank got whacked, the very next day, everybody's hugging the uncle of Handsome Frank.
Right.
When they were the fucking killers. And you're just like, what kind of fucking... It is this, what kind of hell pit is this, where how can you possibly with a straight face offer condolences? And at the end the guy's like, yeah, they whacked him. It's like, no, you whacked him. Who's they? What kind of fucking state of denial bullshit is this? But I don't know anything about the mafia.
Well, that's pretty standard for the mafia. I mean, they're pretty they've done that a lot of times. The non-standard elements in the mafia here were, besides the lack of Italians, the fact that they employed a guy like Ghost Dog who was outside to do such an important job, because every made guy in the mafia is considered a soldier. And therefore they're, a lot of people think, well, they're a hitman. They hire the hitman. No. They're all hitmen. They can all kill people because they're all expected to kill people. So when your boss asks you to kill someone, you just go out and do it. In fact, that's an initiation in some families.
Is that why they're so weirded out when he starts explaining who this guy is that he's been contracted to for 4 years.
Yeah.
He's like, am I fucking dreaming? Did you just tell me that, he sent you a fucking bird? Did I just hear you say that?
And then we have the dialogue of what kind of bird?
Yeah. Henry Silva has like 10 lines in this whole movie, and he nails every single one of them. And for me, I remember him in The Manchurian Candidate, the original Manchurian Candidate, but I remember him most of all as Mr. Zagon in Seagal's premiere Above the Law. Where he is just like the arch CIA torturer guy, and then I see him, a couple of years later do this, and I'm like, he's really funny though. It reminds me of Indians, Red Cloud, Black Elk, it's just like, holy shit, what the fuck. So some of the themes here is that Ghost Dog lives by the Hagakure, the Book of the Samurai. And it's actually quite a great book. If you ever get a chance to read it, with me, the Japanese, go back a little ways. And if you get a copy, if anybody ever gets a copy of the Criterion, they actually have a little pocket-sized.
Look at that.
Nice.
Cool.
A little pocket-sized Hagakure in there. And it only has the quotes, I think, that he used for the movie. But it's worth looking at if you get a chance and you get your hands on a copy. It says he treats his boss Louis, who once saved his life, as his feudal lord. The film constantly quotes the text to explore unwavering devotion, even when it clashes with the decaying modern world. It's about finding purpose and security in a strict personal code and chaos. The film blends Japanese samurai traditions with Italian-American mafia tropes, African-American urban life, and hip-hop culture. Ghost Dog embodies this hybrid using ancient wisdom in a contemporary setting, showing how cultures can coexist, enrich each other, and create something entirely new and powerful. It celebrates appropriation as a creative, empowering force rather than something negative. Imagine that today.
I was just going to say that. And the other thing it has is a crazy French ice cream guy.
I love that guy.
I love that guy. Was the best.
Yeah.
I think that's all Jarmusch. It's like, this movie isn't weird enough. I need to make it like 10% more weird. Let's make the ice cream guy speak French and, Babylon in the park. It's like, okay.
And
but then he turned around. Then he turned around and had Ghost Dog, who a few lines later was actually responding to what he would have said if it was English.
Yeah,
it's a great. I
kind of like that. Even though they weren't talking, they were still kind of communicating.
Right.
I like that.
Right.
He's my best friend.
He's my best friend, but he doesn't speak English. I know.
Well, they've also got that little girl, Perline, who has a lunchbox full of books. I love that. She's very smart. None of this is overly ghetto. Like you could see in like a Singleton movie. It's not Boys in the Hood or New Jack City or anything.
Right.
Like they live in this urban setting, and he's a hitman, but it's not overly exaggerated, or it's not overrun like a lot of unfortunate cities are today. With crime, I mean, she goes to school and her mother's talking to her, and she's not disrespectful to her mother. I'm just going to get some ice cream. I'll be right back. You can see me.
They filmed it in Jersey City 30 years ago.
Yeah,
it's fairly accurate to what Jersey City was like.
But I mean, she starts right in on him with Ghost Dog. When she starts talking to him, she's like, my mother says you live in that house all by yourself and you don't have any friends and you don't talk to anybody. And he's like, well, I'm talking to you. She does it in that innocent way that kids do. They just speak what's on their mind. They don't have a filter, because she's probably got less than half of a brain at that point. And she's like, well, you don't do. Is it true? You don't talk to anybody. He's like, no, it's my best friend right over there. And the idea, like they just keep intuiting what the other one is saying. You can take this and give it to the Haitians, and they could tailor it up for you. And then he's like, I know some Haitian guys who can do that. Real nice, thank you. Yeah, you
I
know.
really did. This scene right here, where they're obviously looking at the boat, I loved that scene.
Yeah.
I did because they were both saying the same thing in different languages,
How does he get
and the
it down?
third guy's
How
going like,
is
"What
he
are you
gonna
looking?
get it?
Like, what? I mean, what are you looking at?"
Yeah, and then the third guy's talking about it in Spanish.
Yeah,
You know, yeah, one's talking in English, one's talking in French, one's talking in Spanish. But it's
and they're
just,
pretty much all saying the same damn thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, and I guess there's a theme that, you know, within a certain kind of construct, people are the same. You know, I don't know if that was what Jarmusch was trying to say, but yeah, I mean, I'm looking here at another theme because I asked I asked Grok, Elon's AI, for some themes, and one of them is cultural fusion and cross pollination. And it says, you know, the Japanese traditions, the mafia tropes, African American urban life, hip hop culture. Hold on a second. Another one was existentialism. It said Ghost Dog is a lone warrior in a changing, decaying world. Post-industrial decay, fading mafia power. Themes of impermanence, loneliness, like the loneliness of a samurai, and the impossibility of returning to a golden age run deep. He finds quiet dignity and inner strength in embracing death and detachment, almost like a Stoic or Zen philosopher.
Yeah, and one thing you'll notice too is all the mafia guys are pretty old, right? And that's part of the decaying too. They're all gray-haired guys. There's not one young guy amongst them.
No,
and the youngsters don't really even respect them.
Right.
In the movie, like that little kid throwing the toys at him, and you know, and I'm going to do. What are you going to do? You know, that there's no respect for the. There's no respect for the older code,
or even that they never seem to have, that one guy never seems to have enough money.
Yeah,
like, I'll get it for you tomorrow. He hands him this big wad of cash. I'll get you the rest tomorrow. Like, no problem. You know, this, that, or the other. Yeah, it's a decaying. You know, it's a fading infrastructure.
Yeah,
you know, which ultimately we realize probably is going to lead to something worse.
Right, but all the hip hop guys, very well dressed, showing a lot of bling, like they're on the ascendancy. However they're doing it, and he doesn't go into how it's happening, but it's definitely Jarmusch is saying, you know, this old school thing is fading, but these hip hop guys, they're on the ascendancy.
It hasn't taken on that sort of the Wire kind of aspects of the urban life. You know, like you said, it's the 90s. It hasn't quite all gone to shit yet. You know, and you're just in this transitional stage of things.
Yeah, and the mafia was like that at that time. They sort of hit their peak around the 70s, late 70s, maybe early 80s, and that's when John Gotti was running New York eventually, and that's kind of when things started to go south for them. And once Gotti was in prison, the FBI really turned up the juice and you know, pretty much dismantled them to the point at which they could hardly make a move without getting recorded. And that was a real problem for them. And so a lot of the mob, you know, they're supposed to be secret, and Gotti was not very secretive. You know, he was very, very outspoken and always in the press. Now the current mafia has kind of returned to that because they've been forced to. You know, all the guys who had big images on the news in Philadelphia with skinny Joey Marlino, they've all sort of faded into the background because they have no choice. They have to be secret again, or they're not going to get away with crimes.
I mean, when Springsteen starts a song, I'm sorry, go ahead, but
I was just going to say they got a lot of competition now between the Japanese mafia and the Russian mafia. That the Italians aren't, they don't hold the stranglehold on organized crime like they used to.
No, and they don't have the money, because a lot of the money that they were running on came out of Prohibition, which they then parlayed in the 40s and 50s, made even more money, and the Teamsters, and they made tons of money. And now now a lot of them are sort of back to where they were kind of prior to Prohibition. And a lot of people don't understand that the mafia didn't really have a lot of money before Prohibition. the Camorra, who are the more sort of common sort of mafia families on mainland Italy, they're actually very poor. And a lot of them tend to be thieves and scam artists. And there are a lot of them, and they are tough. So no disrespect out there to anybody in the Camorra, which don't exist. The mafia doesn't exist. But yeah, I mean, they're now sort of returning to that because, you know, these guys go down big and they take a lot of money with them.
Yep.
Corporations took over Las Vegas.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it reminds
And
me of that.
Atlantic City.
I've never watched an entire episode of The Sopranos. I've only seen little clips here and there.
Oh,
But I remember when they try to shake down a Starbucks.
Yeah.
You know, and the guy's like, "What?"
Yeah.
No,
it was a Jamba Juice, but yeah.
Oh, was it a Jamba Juice? Okay, I thought it was a Starbucks. Okay, and he's like, "No, like, you don't understand. Like, they're just going to send they're just going to replace me with somebody else. Like, you're not closing this place down. It's like a multi-billion-dollar, like, organization.
It's over for the small guy.
And they're like lamenting. My God, things are changing. It says violence isn't glorified but presented as an inherent part of Ghost Dog's warrior nature, and that's true. It's not gratuitous violence.
Right.
There are no torture scenes or somebody just shooting up a concert or something like that. I mean, it's specified kind of, It's funny. I hated to say it, but when I first saw his place, and I'm just like, oh, this is a little okay. He's got like guns laying, or he's got like handguns laying around. He's got a machete over here, and I'm like, okay, maybe I need to clean up my living room a little bit. Because I'm like, okay, I've got to put some of this stuff away. It's just getting a little too Ghost Dog for me. Even John, go ahead.
Like even when he walked into one scene and he had both guns out, and the one guy basically dies of a heart attack.
Oh yeah,
he puts the one gun down. Yeah. He wasn't going to use the both of them on one guy. He puts one down and just uses the one.
Yeah.
If this was a Scorsese knockoff, for lack of a better term,
he's an honorable,
or even a Pulp Fiction type style, he would have just unloaded both of them.
Yeah, if it was King of New York, and I love King of New York, it would have been burn, just like Gatton, like nobody's business. But this is an honorable man working for some very dishonorable people,
exactly.
which is a very samurai trope. And
again, the Kurosawa movies were not gratuitous. I remember.
No.
And he also allows that gangster at the end to straighten his jacket out before he shoots him.
Henry Silva,
He gives him his dignity so he can prepare, and then he kills him. And then also in that scene too, prior to that, where he kills all the bodyguards, almost every bodyguard, again, they're all old. They're all like middle-aged guys, like they're all our age. There's like not one. I was waiting for one of them to be like a goon, big muscle guy. Nah, they're all old, decrepit guys. So like when Forest Whitaker goes in and kills them all, he's not moving lightning like John Wick. He's just doing it very deliberately. But it's very realistic because those guys are so old and fat. You could see like, they're not going to get the gun out in time.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, like that scene where they go up to try to find him, and unfortunately they go up to that Native American's roof. Those two guys look like they're going to have a fucking heart attack, like climbing up stairs. Like they can barely. You all right? Like that's made him aggravated to begin with, and then they can barely speak. They're so out of breath, and like the one guy sounds like he's like a day away from dying of lung cancer. You fuck, I'll get it, and it's just
the gun loaded.
Yeah,
you get all the way.
And it's
I'm sitting there going, this is like two of my family members arguing if they were a hitman. And I kind of giggled at that.
Oh, it's supposed to be. It's absurdly comic. It's absurdly comic. He's got this ridiculous sawed-off shotgun, like almost right to like there's no barrel at all. It's absolutely preposterous. These guys get up.
I love that.
Yeah, it says the film mixes brutal, precise hits with deadpan humor and absurdity. And he says, I think the mafia guys were comically outdated. It touches on justice, morality, and how one person's code can feel righteous, evil, and morally gray territory because he is a hitman.
Yeah.
He is a hitman. On the other hand, he's killing bad people.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's not targeting civilians. He's not just some crazy person out there, having a breakdown. I mean,
Right.
everybody that he gives it to kind of has it coming. And the funny thing is that they turn on him for no good reason.
Right.
Like he does what they ask him to do, and then they want to kill him for it.
Right.
So he is within his rights to just sort of wipe all these guys out. And I didn't have a bit of a problem with it. Because they're all a bunch of scumbags.
That's pretty typical.
Yeah.
That's pretty typical in the mafia too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the irony, that was quote unquote their code. Yeah, he's a captain though. We got to kill him. That's
Yeah.
I love that is when they did that little double take. Here, kill this guy for us. Oh, now our code says we got to kill you for.
Yeah, and
taking him out.
he, his boss Louis tells him, "Hey, better you than me."
Right.
But he's so devoted to this code, he can't bring himself to fight against that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
At least not against that particular person. The rest of them, he's like, "Fuck you."
I got no problems.
Yeah, I got no problems. But you, and he ends up letting Louis kill him. He lets him kill him. He just walks right down there and he forgives him. It's okay. Don't worry about it. It's just business. And that's kind of how it ends.
The master can kill the samurai if he shows disloyalty.
Yeah. He's my boss. He gets to do
boss.
that. He's the boss. He gets to do that.
Yeah, under the mafia code, Ghost Dog has no standing, and only soldiers and above get any kind of hearing in the mafia. So you can't kill or hurt a made guy without permission, but anybody else outside the family, it's open season.
Yeah.
Right.
It says the film meditates on how old codes, samurai and the mafia, fade in a new century, which is funny because this movie takes place right at the end of the millennium. Yet personal myths and borrowed wisdom can give life meaning.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a dying world. It's a fucking dying world, and this guy didn't have much of a shot in it, despite being. Although, I mean, it was pretty funny how that one guy's a Public Enemy.
Yeah.
I like Flavor Flav. He was my favorite guy.
And then he's dancing in the bathroom, putting on talcum powder,
He's got that
singing rap.
limp
And I'm going, you've got to be kidding me.
Holy shit.
I love that. I really did.
I think, though, the thing that exemplified for me the difference between the two the most was what happened to the Native American guy. Where the guy shoots that fucking bird for spite. It's pointless to the violence. It's just pointlessness. It's mean-spiritedness. It has no honor. It has no code whatsoever, even though, you might say, well, okay, the mafia conduct business this way.
Right.
There's a hierarchy, I would say, of codes here, and probably Ghost Dogs, although deliberately set up that way, is probably following the higher of the two.
Yeah.
I mean, when he kills those two bear hunters.
Yeah.
Which are just, it kind of gets a little racist for a second. He's like, you don't find too many of these big black fuckers out here, this kind of thing. Why don't you just get in your car and go? Like, okay, no problem. Just talking. And then he just pulls out a fucking gun and just, fucking
bang, bang.
All the way. And he's like, in ancient societies, bears used to be considered equal to men, and that's it, So I think it was Bill when we did 13 Assassins, and you said the leader of that guy, he had a code, who led the 13 men against that one psychopath. And you said, that guy has a code, and, this guy is just chafed against that, and, that needs to be dealt with. Like, he can't let it go. Um, Another great scene where the mafia guys shoot that cop. Oh, Bill, were you going to say something?
Yeah.
No, I was just going to bring up the fact that when he did the bears, the hilarious part when the French guy's reading about bears.
Yeah.
It
No.
was just great.
Yeah, they're very solitary, but they can be generous when there's plenty, when there's abundance. If they charge you, they can be very dangerous. So, yeah, it's good stuff.
Funny.
I love the soundtrack of this movie, though. RZA does a really good job just making it atmospheric. It was fantastic.
I think I've got it on CD here somewhere in my house, and now you could just pull it up on Spotify, of course. But yeah, he would just steal a car, pop in a CD, listen to some rap music, on his way to kill somebody or to do some business, this, that, or the other. John would remember this when we covered Patterson. Remember Adam Driver's just walking down the street and there's Method Man in the laundry room, working on his rap, while
working on his rap.
Laundry, and he's working on the song, and he just starts shooting the shit with him,
Yeah, I love that. And it was just
his
two poets talking.
Yeah. I mean, there's the park scene where he's just sitting there listening to the guys rap. I think they were Wu-Tang right there, just sitting there. I'm a hero in my neighborhood, these kinds of things. There's the one scene where the guy is he's walking down the street and he sees the one guy mug the other guy, and he pulls those two fucking Bruce Lee kicks out and kicks the shit out of the guy. He's like, oh shit, and he runs away.
Yep.
There's these tiny little weird vignettes in the middle of all these things. Before a scene fades to black, you're like, this is really solid.
He's notorious for that. He'll do a short film and then just decide, okay, this is the basis for my longer film, and pulls pieces of his short films and puts them in the longer piece.
In the scene where what's his name, Ghost Dog is walking down the street and the guy from Wu-Tang.
Yep.
And they just stop and do this.
Yeah.
So simple, and it was just like, and then they walk away, and I'm going, God damn.
Yeah.
I've never had anybody do that to me in my life. I've never got that level of respect.
I got you next time, John.
We'll have to see you walking down the street, John. We'll get right in front of you and
there we go.
Profound.
And you realize, I'll realize too. Get out of my way. I'm late. That's probably what
I gotta get to work. Leave me alone. Come on, will you move? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, respect. Got it.
The fuck out of it. I mean, there's the great scene where the guy fucking shoots the cop.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're a fucking male chauvinist pig.
Yeah.
He's like, didn't shoot a woman, I shot a cop. She wanted to be equal. I made her equal. That's fucking stuff.
He actually had one of my favorite lines at the end after that when he said, he goes, at least one thing about Ghost Dog did, he took us out like we were real mobsters.
We're going out like
for them, they might not have lived a life, but that's how they've gone out.
Yeah.
What's the significance of the daughter? I cannot figure that out. You guys must have a theory on that.
The daughter that takes over the mob at the end?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that to me is a huge strike against the movie, because it's like, that just doesn't happen. It's not like a family business where the last survivor gets to take over no matter what.
It's not a matriarchy.
It just wouldn't happen. But I think that's just the way he wanted to wrap up the film at that point. But I think the vignettes though make a huge problem with the pacing, because for me that kind of throws it off, and it concentrates your attention on these vignettes rather than the narrative as a whole.
Yep.
And that's the downside for me on this film. It makes the movie feel like it's 100 years long.
Yeah.
That's a common thing in samurai films now. You get these little scenes and vignettes out of nowhere, like where he's going to shoot the guy and the fucking cardinal lands right on the barrel.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? And he's just like, he's like, holy shit, like to show he's close, like he's in the proper state of things. like he's getting acknowledgement that he's in the flow state sort of thing.
Right.
I like them, but that's just a common samurai film trope. I think going back to the daughter taking over, I think it shows that Louis does all that for nothing. He's still not in charge,
Right.
unless he plans to kill her. So all of that is he's just thrown away his best guy to save himself, only to be at the bottom again. And two, probably the further deterioration of the mob, because it was obvious from the first scene that the daughter was never stable to begin with.
Yeah.
So the
They
mob
say that at the beginning.
yeah, the mob sinks even lower. Like she was like right out of a psychiatric hospital. So so there's that.
I always took it in also because it was the end of the movie that you had the daughter who I agree with you, Tony, but the daughter assuming because she said, all right, now drive, that she was going to be in charge. And then you had the young girl who was reading all the books and she's starting to read the samurai book and she looks up and like this is the two future going forward.
Yeah,
Right.
With those type codes.
She
It's making the future female, and it's going to repeat itself.
Yeah.
She picks up his gun and tries to shoot Louis, but there's no magazine in it. There's no rounds. Yeah, there are no rounds in the gun. She picks up the gun and clicks off the trigger.
Yeah.
And there's she was going to kill him right there.
Yeah.
But there's just no bullets in it. So that probably is the next generation. Maybe she becomes the next ghost dog of sorts.
It's the next Jarmusch film. It's 28 years later. Let's see what happens.
And now everything's become a matriarchy, and we've got girl bosses, and all this kind of stuff. So
Samurai
You were
Shield.
just saying how they're taking over.
and just that one final line, he goes, we're both almost extinct.
Yeah.
Where he acknowledges at the end as he's dying, he's like, it's okay. We're both almost, and so Louis goes for himself, and it doesn't end on a satisfying note for you.
It goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it ends like a Japanese poem. It goes on.
It just goes on. It goes on.
Yeah, there's no huge denouement. There's no climax. It just sort of peters out.
Yeah.
Which if I think they did, I would have hated it. I really do. I think if they had like one of those big Hollywood type ending, I probably would have disliked it.
I mean, it's one of the things I appreciate about Jarmusch films is that he is not sort of a slave to expected narrative structures. And that's a nice way to put it if you're putting him down, but it's also a huge compliment. And I always look forward to watching his movies because they're not going to play out in that, the act 1, act 2, act 3, what's coming. This is the setup. This is the conflict. There's the solution. It's not going to play out like that.
But he borrows from the samurai movies, so in some respects, he is. I mean, he's just doing it in that mode as opposed to like an original mode.
Yeah, this movie, yeah.
Yeah,
And he still has all the vignettes.
I feel like some of the vignettes, especially the bear scene, are very forced. They come out of nowhere, and they're more about him making a statement than it is about the story.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't like about the movie. Like that those scenes feel very ham-fisted, and I wanted to see. I don't want to see a message in that kind of movie.
That's not how other Jarmusch films that I've watched have played out, like Only Lovers Left Alive or Night on Earth.
Right, I really like that.
They're still original narrative structures, but they're not like this one. And I agree with Tony that I liked it. I didn't love it. There was a lot to love in it, but ultimately, the pacing was a little bit stale.
Go ahead, Mike. No, go ahead.
I watched it for the first time in a very long time, probably 10 years or more. And I didn't have a problem with it. I made it all the way to about 30 minutes in, and then I was just nodding off. So I was just enjoying it. I'm like, wow, this is a lot better than not better than I remembered it, but it was a lot better than I was like, okay, well, what if I watch this and it doesn't hold up? I was having a lot of fun. Now, I understood, of course, that I had seen it before. So, I knew what to expect and I liked it.
Mhm.
I think maybe Tony or John said it. Like, I first saw this in 99. So I liked it back then. I didn't have a problem with it back then. But I enjoyed the pacing and it didn't bother. Like, I came back later today and finished the last 30 minutes out or the last 20 minutes where he kills I just cut it off to the part where he's going to kill the guy who's blasting Public Enemy.
Right.
So that's just a great place to end. So you start up and he's just got that stupid dance with the limp and he's like going to the bathroom. It's sarsaparilla, and all this other shit. And so it's fun. It's not to be taken very seriously. It has a good point to it, but it's not, ultra serious. Patterson was that way also, in that where we finally had the problem. Suddenly it was resolved in like the last 10 minutes of the movie in a completely unexpected way with the Japanese guy. And then the movie just ends. And like John said, it just goes on. He gets a new book. He gets a new book and he starts writing again. So, I think that kind of is Jarmusch Films. We're going to go on next week with a Dead Man.
Okay.
That will be good. And what was that other one you talked about? Night?
Oh, Night on Earth is
Night on Earth. Yeah,
is I saw, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, we're going to do. That's the other one that I haven't seen. So I hadn't seen Patterson. I've seen Ghost Dog. I've seen Dead Man, and then we'll do Night on Earth, and that'll wrap it up. So
Okay.
There you go.
That'll be us. Is there anything about this film that we have not discussed that you would like to get into? It's been about 45 minutes.
Two.
John, go right ahead.
2 points.
Yeah.
One, I love the fact that every time that somebody was watching a cartoon,
That's right.
it was on their age. Like when the older guy was sitting on the end of the bed, it was one of the very old Betty Boop type cartoons.
Yep.
Later on, one of the younger ladies was watching The Simpsons.
Yep.
And I forget which the other one was. They were like more, depending on what era they were from. I love that they were all
Good
watching,
Good eye.
The second one, I got to admit, there was a scene in this movie I laughed out loud because I actually saw it happen when I was younger. When the lady pulls up in the liquor store with the Jaguar and still has it running, and he walks in and takes it, and she runs out and starts.
Jaguar!
And I'm going, I was in Philadelphia and actually saw something like that happen. I had to give like a statement. It was back in the 90s.
That would fucking hurt.
And I sat there. And the cop said, "Do you have any statement you'd like to make?" I went, "Yeah, that was the funniest damn thing I've ever seen." Because I'm like, "Why did you stop and leave the engine running?"
Oh, that's in Jersey City. In fucking Jersey City at any time.
Yeah, and she's even going like, "I'll just pick it up." I'm like,
she's just clacking in her bimbo heels, having a great.
I was waiting for her to see Forest Whitaker just grin.
Yeah.
So thank you for handing this right to me.
All right.
That's all.
Anybody else? Anything you wanted to talk about that we didn't cover? Tony?
I got to say, Forest Whitaker has a lazy eye, and he plays a guy who has a dead shot. So it's a little off. It's a little off in that way. I don't know if I would have cast Forest Whitaker as a guy who could shoot amazingly. I'm just saying.
You come to kill me.
We've been Forest Whitaker. It's going to goes back to Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah,
he's Jefferson. And so what's it been over 40 years?
Nice car. You're keeping it up really well.
Don't fuck with it. Don't fuck with it. And, that's my man. Fucking Dumone. Jefferson. Again by Jefferson.
Oh, Jesus.
You're going to make Lincoln pay for this. I remember him in Scorsese's The Color of Money.
Money.
He was the one who hustled Paul Newman.
Paul Newman.
he was fucking great. And he's only in it for like 5 minutes. He sort of
that one scene.
Yeah, he breaks Paul Newman's spirit. As Fast Eddie, he breaks Fast Eddie Felson's spirit by just taking him to school. He gets him drunk, he's shooting the shit, and then all of a sudden he just, like, Paul Newman realizes it's too late that he's being hustled. He plays Amos. He plays Amos, the hustler.
And every time I think he's reached his peak, he turns around and does something equally better.
He's so
Whether
good.
he's playing Bird in the Cotton Club or
in Bird.
Every time I turn around, just fucking good.
He was the corrupt mayor in Havoc. That's the last thing I saw him in. He was
Idi Amin in The King of Scotland, such a good movie.
That's where he got the Oscar.
He was great in The Shield. He was that guy who was going after Vic Mackey. No one can ever get him. He tried real hard, though.
He played Robin Williams' straight man in Good Morning Vietnam.
Hell yeah, he did.
He was that guy, and
Vietnam. Shit.
And he was perfect with Robin Williams because Robin Williams was so tiny compared to him. He would give him a look, and Forest Whitaker would go, and it was just perfect.
Yes.
You don't. Just one more time, when the engine's running, you don't have to start it. I just remember that from the movie. But whatever movie he does, he gives it his all, and he's really. God, I saw him when I was sick one time. I was watching the very late issues of ER, and he was on ER for like 3 or 4 episodes, playing
playing
a character in a lawsuit, and he was
was left crippled, fucking.
And he destroys you in it, type deal.
He's so good.
I've always been impressed with him.
And he's another one of those guys, almost like Turturro. He can do it, but he doesn't have the leading man look. The Brad Pitt, the matinee star look. But he's just a great. Like, he's given us 4 decades plus of great character acting. And he can be a leading man. I mean, he can, because he can act. He doesn't have to, be, Mr. Jacked, Arnold Schwarzenegger. He could just act. And
in the Crying Game. He was second lead in the Crying Game. So good.
I only saw that one time.
He was the second lead. He was the one that said, "Take care of my girl." And
okay, that was Stephen Rea, wasn't it?
Yep.
Stephen Rea. I remember that. Yeah. He's another one I love. I love Stephen Rea. Stephen Rea is fucking great.
He's very underrated. Yeah. I've seen him in horrible movies where he was good.
Yeah. Him and Mark Rylance. If anybody knows who Mark Rylance is, I fucking love Mark Rylance. Another one. I'll just watch him do anything. He could read out of the phone book, and I'd watch him do it. No problem. All right, let's get to the part in the stream where we rate the film. This channel has a rating system that goes from 0 to 5 up by halves. So 0, 0.5, 1, 1.5, all the way to 5. So 0, for example, would be I'd rather drink warm orange juice than watch this movie again. All the way to 5, which is this is the journey, this is the destination, this is why I watch films in the first place. Let's go with Tony D, the local Piney. What would you give Jim Jarmusch's Ghost Dog, The Way of the Samurai?
I give it a 3. I mean, I like it, but I'm not in like with it.
Very good. Very good.
All right, so if it's 4 o'clock at the bar, you might consider, this sort of thing, that sort of thing. I understand. John K. Alvarez, what do you got for us?
I'll take the movie home for a date. I'll give it a 4.5.
4.5. Okay.
This is my first time watching it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So, to me, I'm giving it a 4.5. Was it perfect? No. But it was enough that I sat there and I said, I really kind of like this walk through Jersey City.
Yeah.
And I had an incredible urge to have ice cream.
Well, yeah, exactly. Custard Corner opened yesterday in Egg Harbor City. I got a mint chocolate chip waffle cone. It was so heavy I had to take a nap afterwards because I got 4 scoops of chocolate chip. It was that much. I know what you mean. And it was the same way with Patterson. Remember, John, we were saying for some reason we wanted to go to Patterson, New Jersey after watching.
I wanted to ride in New Jersey Transit.
No, you don't know.
Well, this was 2017, and Adam Driver is our bus driver. So if that happens,
he's not there.
He's not there. He's not Adam Driver. He's not your driver. Bella Nakasama. What do you got for us with Ghost Dog?
I'm in the middle of these two guys. I'm going to give it a 4. I love Jarmusch. I'm just going to preface with that. Stylistically, I love him. He's one of those filmmakers, you watch anything that he makes and you know it's him, just like, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. This one, though, normally Jarmusch movies will grab me and I'll be engaged. I think this one I kept falling out of, and if it wasn't for the vignettes with the quotes from the samurai book, I would have never been pulled back in, and that was hard. That was a hard go for me. I kept going out of the narrative and not paying attention. So it does. I agree with Tony. It doesn't really pace itself well. It doesn't keep your attention well. But like I said, it's full of stuff that is beautiful and awesome, and I love it. But I got to give it a 4. I can't endorse it any higher than that.
Okay, that's fine. Hold on a second. We got some comments here. We got Exorcist reviews. What's happening, man? Dude, we got a new Exorcist film coming out. Mike Flanagan, baby. And he's going to do it right. I got a good feeling about this. Flanagan has never let me down with anything. We got ScarJo in the lead. So that could be interesting. She's always good. Rarely lets me down. Even when a movie that she's in isn't good, she's always good.
Yeah.
So, and I think a perfect example of that was the last Jurassic Park film, where it wasn't great because they keep mutating the dinosaurs at the end. Like if they had just made it T-Rexes, it would have been fine. But she's always fantastic and, of course, extremely nice to look at. So what's happening? We got to talk some more about that. And then we got Eric. What's happening, man?
Hey, Eric.
Forest Whitaker was even in Bloodsport with Van Damme. He was one of the guys that attempted to arrest him and bring him home to the U.S., but Van Damme was just so damn good. He won him over on skill alone, and I think they left him alone, if I remember that correctly. Van Damme, one of the all-time classics. Bloodsport.
I really like that Bloodsport. I was surprised.
Yeah, it's a completely fun, completely turn your brain off. Kind of movie, not in an insulting way. Like it understands it's, but the physicality is good, and yeah, you can enjoy it. No problem.
And Chris Van Damme is now in movies, son of Jean-Claude.
Is he really?
Yeah, I did a trailer analysis of one of his movies, and he shot me a comment, and
really?
Yeah, he's pretty good in it, but apparently I think some of his scenes got cut, but. You know, that's the way Hollywood goes. But
is it martial arts action?
It's an action movie, but it's not totally martial arts.
Okay.
Oh, it's Brandon Lee.
Like Brandon Lee, yeah.
Okay. When Brandon Lee was doing action films, not martial arts.
Right. It's got like a lot of guns in it mostly.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right. For me, I'm going with a 4.
Nice.
I think we have a solid piece of entertainment here. I don't think it starts to like if I could give it a 4.25, I would, but I stick to my own rating system. I don't cheat my own system, so I'm going to give it a 4. It's not leaning into cinema, but it's extreme. It's a very, very high functioning piece of entertainment. I've been a fan for 27 years now. I'm still a fan. I owned a copy on VHS. I owned a copy on DVD. Now I've got a copy on Blu-ray. It's not a movie I'm going to watch every 6 months, but every once in a while I can be in the mood for some Ghost Dog. And like right now, I'm totally in the mood to turn on the soundtrack and listen to some right now. I'd be fine with it. I love seeing, I think this was the last time I saw Henry Silva in a film, if I remember correctly. So that was good. Yeah, I thought it was an interesting take. Jarmusch makes weird films. Like the last one we covered was about a bus driver in Paterson, New Jersey, whose name is Patterson. You know, this beautiful little meditation on repetition. Here, you've got a black guy who lives in, Jersey City who, follows the code of the samurai. We're about to leap over to Dead Man with Johnny Depp and Robert Mitchum, which is like this brutal sort of comic western, and then we'll get to the Night movie, which I've never seen before. But then it could be something like Coffee and Cigarettes, and I think he's done 3 of those now. And the one that I remember the most is the one with Iggy Pop and Tom Waits.
Yes.
Whatever Iggy Pop does, he just pisses Tom Waits off. He keeps saying the wrong thing no matter what he does. He can't get it right. Or we could go all the way to Only Lovers Left Alive, which we've covered on this show, which is just, I think, a fantastic film, fantastic vampire movie with Tilda Swinton and Tom Hiddleston. I think Hiddleston's a really great actor. Hiddleston's always great. So I mean, it's range. It's range with Jarmusch. You know, they're all just weird. They're all just good to watch, and they're fun. They're not pretentious or anything like that.
Don't sleep on his documentaries. See Year of the Horse about Neil Young, and see Gimme Danger about the Stooges. Both of them are just magnificent documentaries.
All right, we'll do. All right, Bill and Nakasama, plug something.
I got nothing right now, but look out for my band. We're called Ye Old Bottom Turns. We should be popping up in about a month or 2. We play a lot of surf instrumental music, and we're good. Ye Old Bottom Turns.
You got to get yourself out to 10th Avenue Burrito, man. They got to get you out.
We're working on it.
Okay, all right.
Love that place.
Tony D, we know you got something cooking. What do you got for us?
I got book 20 of the Pineys now available. Finally, April 6th it dropped, and it's book 20, Planet Piney. So this is based on the 1978 incident that happened in McGuire Air Force Base. They say an alien escaped from the base and was shot on the runway and taken away by a mysterious white van, probably to Ohio. And so it's all going to be about that. It also features the Mantis Man of Hackettstown, the Dog Man of Manchester, and one other famous cryptid, which I won't give away because you got to read the book. I'll also be at Fort Mifflin on Saturday for the Author's Day from 10 to 4, and OC Con and Ocean City Music Pier 10 to 4 on Sunday.
Good stuff.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
So you got nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing's happening. You should have just said that. For fuck's sake. For the record, if I ever get shot, don't take me to Ohio under any circumstances whatsoever. So yeah, I'm gonna add
even if Neil Young is singing it.
No. Even if he's, I saw Ween do it once. That's close enough.
There you go.
John K. Alvarez, you got anything for us?
Not a darn thing this weekend, bud.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah, nothing.
All right. For this channel, we will be back next week with Jim Jarmusch's Dead Man, starring Johnny Depp. Again, another movie I probably haven't seen in 20 years. I bought a $3 used DVD of it, so it's sitting there on the shelf, and I'll pop that in, and we'll go on with the month of Jim Jarmusch. Hold on a second, because May is coming up after April, if I'm not mistaken.
It is?
Every year.
Shocking.
Hold on, smart asses. Let's see. Hold on, because I know who the next 3 directors are.
Ooh.
Let's see. Oh no, I don't. We need one for May. In June, we're doing Tony Scott. So that'll be fun. We got True Romance, and we got Man on Fire, and like all those types of films. And then July is Spike Lee.
Oh, right on.
So that'll be good. I'm going to have mixed feelings about that, but yeah, he's a great director and great filmmaker. And August is either going to be Michael Bay or James Cameron. Michael Bay makes really good fucking movies. I like Michael Bay. I got nothing against Armageddon. I got nothing against The Rock. If you've ever seen the Benghazi movie, 13 Hours, it's a fucking horror movie is what it is, man. Holy shit, that's a horror movie and a half. And maybe I've never gotten around to actually see the first Transformers movie.
Worthwhile. The first one good.
Here's what you do. Get a Transformers figure and a flashlight, and then shine the flashlight in your face and try to look at the Transformers figure.
Then the tanker truck goes.
Actually, he said the best. He gave the best review I could have given.
It's lens flare. It's all about the lens flare of Michael Bay.
You guys didn't even mention Megan Fox, who I've never actually seen in a movie.
Well, you'll see her, and you'll like seeing her. I don't know if you'll like hearing her talk.
That's like when Cindy Crawford was in that movie with Dennis Miller.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
She was in a movie with
that.
He also did one with Adam, one of the Baldwin boys.
Yeah, or the Fair Play or something like that.
Fair Play or something like that.
Yeah. That reminds me of when Angie Everhart was in the Tales of the Crypt movie. She was a vampire.
Yeah.
Oh, she looked good, though. She's like this 6-foot fucking redhead, just smoking hot. Dennis Miller was in that one, too, I think.
Yep.
And
Chris Sarandon.
Yeah, Chris Sarandon. Yeah. So, all right. We'll have to come up with somebody for May. So, I have to think of somebody.
Maybe
for May.
Michael Mann, Guy Ritchie,
Terry Gilliam.
Oh,
Terry
no.
Gilliam.
Huh? What?
McG.
Who's McG? Shut up.
All right, never mind.
Yeah, all right. I'll think of somebody.
All right.
Because as the warm weather comes along, I like to try. Like I figure July is going to be a hot fucking month. That's a good time for Spike Lee. Tony Scott in June. Yeah, that'll be a good one. And we'll see. Maybe I'll. I don't know if I do James Cameron. Like James Cameron's hard because it's hard to pick, and a lot of them are long movies.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of them are like they're like 3.
Go to James Cameron early years, before Avalon.
Avalon. I don't know that one.
What's the one he did? James Cameron with Avatar. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I mean, even
back
back then. All right, we'll see what's up. But Tony Scott and Spike Lee for sure. All right, my thanks to Bill Nakasama. My thanks to Tony D, the local Piney, and my thanks to John K. Alvarez. We will see you all. My thanks to everybody in the chat. We will see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone. And